The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name, for the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. All right. Now, as you've seen, that the translators actually think Gregory is the divine, and you people who are so-called Christians think you study the Bible. Well, here's a fact, that the good guys aren't editing the text. Now, this is what I'm going to do. And this is like part 9. And I don't know if I'm still going to get through this. I got like 70 verses, I think, that Jesus is just so stupid. Okay. For example, here's the King James, and this is New American Standard Bible. And I corrected this text here because you've seen I have a concordance that can help me out when I need it. Now, these two come off of BibleHub.com, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here how that's like a beginning. But how stupid is it that you think Jesus is asking you to drink his blood? All right? He would have never said that. And flesh is not flesh. It is your muscles, okay? So you Christians out there just don't know how to edit the Bible correctly and get rid of that bullshit that sits here and says that Jesus said, who eats my flesh and drinks my blood. Do you really think Jesus told you to drink his blood? He's been dead for, 2,000 years, and the Catholic Church is going to give you wine, and you're going to drink it and say, yeah, you idiots. I can't believe you're so stupid out there. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to correct the text to where Jesus could have said these words. And you can use and trust these words that he said these. By cleaning up this, he will not raise them up on the last day. He will forgive them. That's what our Creator granted him when he blessed him or anointed him as our King. Okay? So you out there that don't know what that means, I've got many videos out there that tells what's going on, but I'll give you a quick summary here real quick. And when Jesus was anointed by our Creator, it happens okay, here we go. Right at the beginning, I missed it. Here. Now, this is when Jesus, our text says, Jesus says that the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he anointed me. To anoint a person means that you're anointing the king or a priest. This oil is taken from the meeting room with our Creator. And that is the oil that is used to keep the lights for the lamps to glow in the meeting room because there's no windows. Okay, and that oil is there and always supposed to be there. That was taken out in, it is a statute before a priest can actually go in and work inside the gate. He is got to be anointed. When a king is going to be the next king, he is anointed, okay? And that's the oil. Now, Jesus is saying he's been anointed, okay? Now here it says, this is the verse that they say that is in the Hebrew text. I will put my spirit on him and it shall proclaim justice to the Gentiles. Here's the verse here that in Matthew, that after he was baptized, he immediately come up from the water, and the heavens, it's got S here. Do you know what the heavens are? You probably don't know because you don't pay attention. The third heaven is where the birds fly. The second heaven is where the motions of the stars create Mount Zion in the far north. Now, where'd that come from? Anyways, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but okay, hold on a second. All right. I'm sorry. I usually don't get a call for the iPad. But the thing here is the motion of the stars is the second heaven. It creates a mountain. You ever seen the North Star picture and they show you a time lapse? You can see this is a mountain and our Creator lives above there in heaven. So there's where heaven is located. Now you know where Jesus looked to heaven and asked for a miracle to feed the people. And right here in this, it says the heavens opened up. So from here, we have the heavens, earth, the third heaven where the birds fly, open up. They could see the stars, and then they opened up, and they seen our Creator's breath, his spirit coming down, okay? Just because a spirit is something that's there, but it's unknown or unseen until you breathe out and you can see it when it's cold that you actually are there. And they knew that if you cut the tongue off, that you couldn't talk. So the object is that your tongue made you to talk, but the words were in the air. So the words would have been spirit. This fog that's coming down from our Creator descended like a dove. Now, what does a dove do when it lands on the ground? It keeps its wings open and it comes down, and just before it gets to the rest on the land, it folds its wings up and it comes up a little bit and then down. And the words are coming upon him. So you now have a visual of our Creator anointing Jesus to be able to become a priest, to be able to forgive sin. And now you know the answer. That is what the word forgive means, okay? And he's going to do it on their last day because they're going to die on a day, okay? And my words are their truth, okay? Not their flesh. He doesn't want you to eat his body. What kind of idiot stands up there in front of you and says, come up here and take communion? Damn stupid people. Anyways, drink his blood. This is just ridiculous. But it gets down to here where it says, our Father sent me, and I will live with my Father, and they will also live with me. That's the words Jesus can truthfully said. And I've got a lot of text to back up every one of these words here. Man, I just don't understand how stupid the Christians really are. All right. Now, here, this verse, this is John 7, verse 8, or chapter 7, verse 8. You go up to this feast, and I am not yet going up to this feast, for my time has not yet come, or fully come. What the hell does that mean? There is no such thing as a feast. So Jesus is stupid by saying that alone. There is a celebration that is to take place that is a statute by our Creator. And it is on the first day of the year when he did his passing over of not killing the Israelis' sons, but killing the Egyptians' firstborn sons. That is the first day of the year. It is the summer solstice, and you idiots celebrate it in April by a pagan religion. That's what they celebrate, that passing over. I don't know what's in your mind, but you got to understand that it's not a feast. It was commanded by our Creator what they were to eat, what time they were supposed to eat, and what they were supposed to celebrate. Not passing or not killing their sons. Okay? So, now how is this? Not going up to this feast. Jesus has to fulfill every command, statute, and law. He is to be at a celebration as a member of the tribe of, Judah. Okay? Now, the thing here is it's a statute. So Jesus is saying that he's breaking the statute that our Creator sent. Okay? I am not yet going up to this feast. There is no other feast by law, what Jesus is talking about here. Because he says, because my time is yet not fully come. What the hell is he even saying here? His time has not yet fully come? Okay. Myself, I know Jesus is not that stupid, but I'm going to say plain and simply, that's the most untruthful statement he would ever make. I could correct it by telling you it's the celebration, but then it's kind of like, I'm not going up to it. That's against what he is supposed to do. He told you he is to fulfill every statute, commandment, the laws, the guidances our Creator gave. But just right over your head like you don't know what the heck's going on with the sentence. You just read it and kind of like, yeah, I'm listening to that guy up front. He really knows what he's talking about. He's got me convinced that Jesus is stupid, so I'll agree with him. Okay, John 7:22. Moses therefore gave you circumcision. He did not give you circumcision. Okay, now this parenthesis with the text inside says they had found these words in other manuscripts, so they've added it to your text. And it's not that it is from Moses, but from the fathers. Now, these words are Jesus speaking. Jesus doesn't know that it is part of the everlasting promise of why you actually enter into heaven. Okay? To obey the laws and statutes. One of the statutes our Creator first started off with Abraham, who changed his name from Abram to Abraham. You had to circumcise your firstborn son, okay? And every son, actually. But it was his firstborn son. Ishmael was not circumcised, okay? So the thing here is Moses gave you circumcision? Not that it is from Moses, but from the fathers? What the hell does this mean? Do you actually believe that? Now, I've got people probably putting things in the comment without even listening to what I got to say. So the thing here is you got to understand, this is not me saying I'm making Jesus stupid. It's the writers making Jesus stupid. Okay? Let me show you something real quick here, because I know that you kind of like, oh yeah, there's 12 apostles or 12 disciples. Not true. We've got Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and each one of them have a different number of disciples. They don't know who they're even talking about. They don't know each other. Okay? That is, to me, is funny, because they've got 2 Simons. They've got 3. They got 2 Judases, the son of James and Judas Isaac, whatever. But the only thing is they've got 2 Judas. And here, look at these. You got 15 different names here. These 3 people never met each other as disciples. They couldn't even remember their other names. Okay, that's how corrupt the text is. Yet you go to church, yeah, everybody nods in line like, yeah, okay, I believe every word that guy is telling me up in front, and he's as stupid as anybody else, and everybody just, yeah, okay, I'm here, I'm good. Well, I got a surprise for you. Jesus says, you will call me Lord, Lord, and I still don't know you, because you're going around repeating this shit. You're deceiving people, plain and simple. Okay, so Jesus knows that this would not be, he wouldn't even said this, and he would have said, our Creator gave circumcision as a statute in order for them to stay on the land and be part of his nation. And then later, that statute continues and the promises continue to, then when you're staying in his nation without being cast out, then the promises change that you can enter into heaven because you are obeying his words. those who are obeying the statutes, the commandments, the laws, fulfilling the in the guidances. So here, and you circumcise a man. Now here, Jesus doesn't even know the definition of the word man here. So now I know there's something wrong with Jesus' brain up here, because our Creator defines the word man as I created man, male and female. So Jesus is so stupid, he uses a secular word to mean a male, okay? On the Sabbath, the thing here is it doesn't matter what day it is. That is to fulfill the statute. They are innocent when they are fulfilling the statute of circumcision. And he wouldn't call it a Sabbath. Our Creator defined it in the 12 commandments. You've seen the 12 commandments. It's down here, holy days, okay? You're supposed to obey the holy days. It's a holy day. It's nothing, it's not a Sabbath. Our Creator defined it as a holy day right here, okay? And yet stupid people call it a Sabbath. Secular, these guys are atheists editing the text. Wake up out there. And your circumcision, and you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. Oh, but this is still so wrong that it's not funny, because the thing here is this, I know Jesus would not, he fulfilled he was circumcised, okay? And he knew it was a statute. All the true Israelis, and I'm not saying Jews are the ones that don't believe Jesus, okay? They're idiots. When it comes down to understanding what Israelis at that time that were witnessing our Creator talking to men for hundreds of years, and then to sit there and say, oh yeah, when we're going to change this into English in 1611, we're going to add all kinds of stuff into the text. Okay? But this is just stupid. They're using the secular definition for the word male or man. Okay, I haven't even been able to correct one of these verses yet. Got to keep throwing them out. John 14:3. Okay. If I go to prepare a place for you, Jesus is going to prepare a place for you? No. He is going to be given a kingdom, so he can't prepare it, okay? Our Creator gives it to him, a place for you. And I will come again and receive you myself, that where I am, there you also may be also. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited to where this stuff just is really stupid. But I'm going to try to correct this text. Not if. Jesus is saying if he dies. Okay, the word if is a big giveaway. Okay, if. Do you really think Jesus said, if I go to prepare? You don't think he's knows that he's to be on or be sent to the Israeli people as their king, and he is going to be their king in heaven? Like he doesn't know what they've been telling, our Creator's told him through the prophets for over 300-400 years. Wait for Jesus to come, okay? And his name in the Hebrew text is Yah, okay? I get so upset. People saying, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. Well, I got a surprise for you. Here is Isaiah 38, verse 11. This is King Hezekiah, and he's king of Judah. He's the tribe of, or the nation of Israel has just been sent into captivities. And here he's been told he's going to die, because our Creator told him he was going to die. So he sits here and he writes, I will not see, they put it in capital letters as Lord, like not our Creator is going to come and visit him, but the name in the Hebrew is Yah. Now, in Strong's dictionary, it will have two H's here, but to own the copyrights to Strong's book, Numeric Standard Concordance, they went and changed the lettering so they could own the copyrights to concordance. But I will not see Yah in the land of the living. You know they were to wait for Jesus. Here is a king from Israel having it written down that I will not see Yah in the land of the living. There is the proof that Jesus' name was written by Hebrews as Yah. Okay? So, now Jesus is not going to say, if I go. So we can get rid of that, okay? I will... Now, I don't know where this is at in John 14. This could be, I don't know how many chapters are in John off the top of my head, and I know none of the books are in order. So, I'm thinking this is when he's talking to the disciples, that he's telling them that he is going to die. Okay? He's going to be betrayed, and he is going to die. So, he's going to be telling them, I will die, not go. I will die. And that means the body death. The soul does not die, so don't get all worried about it. You don't understand that the soul is separate. So when my body dies, when I die, so I got to change that word, and I'm going to add this word, and I'm not going to say that that word's needed. I will die and be, and this is coming from our Creator because it's been prophesied from the prophets for many years. Be given, this is coming from our Creator, given a kingdom, not a place, it's a kingdom in heaven. And you now know it's above the North Star where we're talking about. So, because this is all words coming from our Creator. Here, that has to be said by Jesus to be truthful. I will be given a kingdom. I will die and be given a kingdom in heaven. Not for you. I can't say that it's for you. The kingdom is his. The kingdom is for his who he's forgiven. So I just can't say you because you Christians are so stupid you don't even think you think you're going to heaven. And I'm telling you, half of you ain't. You just don't. You ain't going to make it. Okay? Yet, he would say, yet. Now this is Jesus, and he's got to say, yet I will come again. Now this is the second coming. Okay? Now Jesus, these are his words that he's going to come again. We have nothing in the text that says that Jesus is going to come again as a second coming, and the end of man on earth will happen at that moment. There's no whatever bullshit they're putting out to you on the internet and somebody trying to say, okay, some of you are going to be left, some of you aren't. His second coming is to say the end of man, because he says that after everybody is, look, he's going to come, everybody there on earth, they're instantly going to die. Their souls are going to go to the abyss. The others are going to go instantly to heaven. And then our Creator is going to make hell, an existence of a separation of the two forever. Now, those that are dying and going into the abyss now, they might come out of there, go into heaven, because after you're dead and you're in that abyss and you realize that you're going to live forever and you decide that, hey, I'm going to repent and I'm going to believe what I know about our Creator telling me that if I obey Him, I get to enter into heaven. So when he says, yet I will come again, is the second coming, okay? Well, I don't need to put it down. I will put it this way. I will come again and receive, not you, because they're going to be dead, okay? They're going to be dead. To not receive, but he's going to gather. Gather mine. Okay? So one, this is by our Creator, that he's going to gather them to become his, because our Creator has told him that he is going to be a king for all races on earth. Okay? He gets to decide the higher moral people and all the other races on earth, since probably before the Great Flood, they get to enter into heaven. Okay? So they have to be of high moral. They can't be murderers. They can't go around and curse our Creator. Those that are cursed never, ever get to enter heaven. Okay? Gather mine to where I am, which means that you know about the kingdom in heaven. Okay? And because we're talking that this verse is to the disciples, and some people are thinking Judas isn't going to be in heaven. Well, I got news for you. Without Judas, our Creator can't make everything happen the way it did. So Judas needed to betray him. And it says he went out and hung himself afterward. What a righteous act by himself, realizing what had happened. But he is going to be in heaven. Whether you like it or not, you aren't thinking, how can our Creator actually have them crucify him if Judas doesn't kiss him on the mouth to make it an arrestable fact for an arrestable act for the priests who were in control of justice by the laws in the text for the Hebrew people. The Romans allowed that except for murdering or killing them. But they needed to grab him, make him arrest, and then they got their people to influence Pontius to crucify him. So, and I have to add that to be true. And there you, not maybe, you will be. There you will. Well, I guess I could do that. Will be. You will be. And I don't need the word also. Jesus doesn't need to speak stupidly like that. So now if I take this text and if I clean it up, I got to get another piece of paper here because I found that if I do my macro, that it does everything in the text below. And I've got this that can't have that happen. Okay. Now, let me take this text and say that these are the words that now we can say that Jesus most likely said to the disciples when he knew he was going to be betrayed. So, I will die because, because Jesus is going to do it because our Creator told him that he's going to do this. So these are all acts by our Creator, of Jesus saying, I will die, because that's what's got to take place. That's, if you ever read Isaiah's vision of his death, stunning. He's seen all this. Okay, and that's the first text that we have of Jesus actually dying, and them even to have an understanding of what the title Christ is. The title Christ means our most obedient king is going to be betrayed and die, and a horrible death. That is what the title Christ means. And it comes from Isaiah's vision that our Creator gave him of them crucifying him. I will die and be given a kingdom in heaven. I guess this should be heaven. Yet I will come again. That's new news that Jesus is telling us what's going to happen, and gather mine to where I am, and there you will be. And this I'm going to put as all capital letters because it means the place in heaven that he was talking about here. Now that is how you correct the text. You have to know stuff. You don't have him saying stupid stuff like, if I go, like he didn't know he was going to die. That's what the purpose of what he's telling him is going to happen. If. Oh, man. Stupidity by the people who don't understand who our King in heaven is. Plain and simple. John 12:47. Okay. If anyone hears my words and does not believe, I do not judge him, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. What an idiot statement by Jesus. Anyone who, if, let's get rid of the word if here. Anyone hears my sayings, and they got words up here, and I'm going to change it to teaching, because he does do teachings. My teachings. In fact, I could put it even better. Gospel. The word gospel means it was Jesus coming and teaching about his kingdom and about himself. That is what the word gospel is. So there's no such thing as a gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. That's just idiots putting words up there to convince you that they're really smart and you really should believe every word they say. That is just stupid. You got to understand, Jesus defined that what the word gospel is. So anyone hears my gospel and does not keep them, well, when he told them to obey our Creator, to be obedient to our Creator, how are they going to enter into heaven? Plain and simple. And does not keep them? Let's get rid of the stupidest words by Jesus here in this verse. And keeps them. I have to add the S here to be truthful. Keeps them. And we know them is our Creator's commands. And the commandments are very necessity. Very, very much a necessity for those who say they're a Christian and then don't obey those 12. They are calling to, Lord, save me. Well, that ain't going to happen. He's told us over and over that you have to do as he did. He obeyed our Creator to the fullest. Okay? So you think you can get away with only 10% of what Jesus did? Don't blame me. That's Jesus gives parables, which is teaching about his kingdom, that you must be fully obedient to our Creator. at least 1/12 of your life. Okay, so I will go over the parables and teach each of the parables as well. I do not judge them, and it's I will judge them. And I need the word for. I will judge. For I will judge. And it's just that we can't have just males going to heaven, okay? So I have to include women by saying them. I'm sorry, ladies, it's a poor excuse for me to put this word here. For I will judge, let's put it this way, I'll put in man. Now you know that the definition of man means male and female. I will start using it that way and be truthful. And I know Jesus knew what it was, what the definition of man was. So for I will judge man, okay? I did not come to judge the world, and yet we know here, for I came, and this has to be because he's been sent, for I am sent. Because definitely sent is better than came, because our Creator had told the prophets that he's coming. He's coming. Tell him that he's coming. It's supposed to wait for him. For I was sent, and this is a command from our Creator, so it has to be all capitals. For I was sent to judge. And it's not the world. You can't, when you're speaking of the world, you have to say that actually it's everyone, not the ground, not the water, not the animals on the water. The thing here is Jesus knows that he is to judge everyone, and that means everyone that's ever existed on this planet, okay? So, to judge, for I was sent to judge everyone. But to save the world. I don't think he would, I think he's already said this when he said this. He's not saving the world. He's only going to save those that are obedient and does his gospel, or keeps our Creator's words and his commands. So let me do this. And okay, and now let me see how this looks. Anyone hears my gospel and keeps them. Yeah, it looks like I've got to go back to teaches there, and keeps in my teachings. So I have to change this to teachings. He was teaching them that to be obedient to our Creator. So I got that wrong, and that's why I do this extra part here to clean up. This don't need, and keeps them, which is actually commandments by our Creator, or commands by our Creator. Anyone who hears my teaching and keeps them, I will judge man. Anyone hears my teaching and keeps them, I will judge. This is going to be a period. I will judge them as mine. Okay, we are definitely going, anyone in Jesus' kingdom is his subject. Okay, so this needs to be them as mine, for I was sent to judge everyone. Okay, I can agree with that now. So if I take that out and that out, that out. Gee, I could have done that on the other page, I guess. Now I've got true words said by Jesus. Anyone hears my teachings and keeps them, I will judge them as mine, for I was sent to judge everyone. Okay? Because you got to understand that Jesus is sent to judge everyone. And that comes from the time of Abraham, that when our Creator established his covenant or his everlasting promises, he talks about making nations from you, okay, forth from you. Kings shall come forth from you. Then down here, this was Genesis 17:6. This is Genesis 18:18. And in him, who is him? King. A king. All the races on the earth will be blessed. He doesn't tell us at this time that the blessing is going to be entered into heaven. Okay? But that's what's going on. And from Abraham's seed, all the races on earth shall be blessed because you have obeyed my voice. Meaning, he obeyed him killing his son, Isaac. He was willing to do it. He knew our Creator could recreate him a son. That is awesome. You guys don't understand, but that's why Abraham is known as righteous. He put our Creator first, not himself, not his family, not his children, nothing. Put our Creator first. That's what makes him righteous. Those of you that put our Creator first, you can tell yourself that you are righteous. Okay? So, this is the promise that later that Jesus is going to come and he's going to be able to judge all them as his, and he was sent to judge everyone. Okay? That is the true words Jesus says here. Not if anyone hears my, whoops, I should put teaching here now. Because somebody come along, they might think I made an error. Well, I did. Okay. Now, let's see here. Because I try to make these only an hour and a half long. Because I get a little upset when I'm doing things like this. So, okay. Now, I'm trying to look at the difference right now. A servant to a slave. Um, okay. So let's see how stupid Jesus is here. Remember the words. Is it words or teachings? Remember not the words, but my teachings. My teachings I said to you. Now, you know he's talking to the disciples, okay? So this is a period, this is going to be another subject, because he's saying, remember my teachings I said to you. So this is the first statement, and they didn't have proper English, so don't need these said like that. But Jesus, I like giving respect and honor to by first capital letter. A slave is not greater than his master. They didn't have slaves, plain and simple. If our Creator had them set up what's known as a debtor's prison, that means if you borrowed from your neighbor and didn't fulfill by replacing or giving, say if it's borrowed money, borrowed animal, borrowed food, if you didn't return it in the agreement that you did, that person could walk up to the because they had elders of the area for the city or town or village or whatever, and tell them that, hey, he promised me this and it didn't happen. They would take him and place him in what is known as a debtor's prison. Now, that prison, anybody else could hire that person and then pay off the debt that he did not pay them, okay? But at the end of 7 years, there is a year of redemption. Our Creator tells the priest to blow the horns before the 7th year starts, that everyone is to be released from all debts. They weren't slaves to each other, okay? That is just the wrong. So it has to be, the word servant has to be a better word than slave. So let's have, because it's, because I'm trying to show that the word slave does not exist. They did not make slaves of each other, okay? But he is talking about a servant. Now, a servant, there's a difference when it comes down to a title for the person who is like head of the family as the father, and the family stays together in that home, okay? But the wealthier have not a home, but a house. In that house, they can have servants. They can have work quarters. They've got fields. They got people working for them, okay? Now, this would mean that they're earning a wage, okay? So the thing here is a servant is not greater than, and see, they don't, because women can do this as well. So you got to get rid of the word his, okay? Maybe I should blow this up a little bit. So, but anyways, not greater than a master. We had a servant, a master, okay? And actually they had a title, and it was known as Lord, okay? A Lord. Abraham was a mighty Lord because he had many people working for him as herders for his rams or goats, okay? So that's what I mean. A Lord was to help the other people to exist. He would provide their food, their shelter, okay, and give them money. So the thing here is for their wages, okay? That's what wealthies do. The servants then would take their money back to their family and say, here, add this to help the rest of our family out from being wealthy, and then maybe I can come back and not work, and I can start making our family wealthy. See, our Creator never wanted them to be slaves. He's always wanted them to stand on their own, and always gave a way for the people to do that. So This is a real good, truthful statement here. Now, here's that damn word if again. If they prosecute me, if they prosecute him, well, let me, because I'm not sure if these are going to be two different subjects, and they shouldn't really be put together. Because let's put it this way: since the time Jesus started going around, and he only did this in 1 year, and it's known as the favorable year of our Lord. Okay, when I showed you that he was anointed, it proclaimed the favorable year of, this would be our Lord or our King. Okay, so he did this within 1 year. Now, what happened? He had many unbelievers coming up in there of his own people. The Romans didn't come up to him. They didn't care what was going on. Those that were foreigners other than Romans that were in the land, they didn't care. They didn't know what was going on. Now, there's some of them would have, yes, but that's because they would have obeyed our Creator, because you have to come to our Creator first to know that you are to be obedient to Him, to understand who Jesus is and who He is for you in heaven. So they have, because I'm thinking that this, now, if he's talking to the disciples, and I have that with here, okay, and it's to remember my teachings. So, at what time is this text pretty much saying? Within that year. Okay, the story starts out that Jesus is talking to, at the Passover celebration, his parents take off, and then they realize he's not in the caravan. They come back, and he tells them, because I'm doing my Father's business. That's him telling them, this is the favorable year for me. Okay. They leave. He starts making his teaching known to different people. Right off the bat, he goes and heals a guy that's waiting to be put in a pool of water that's supposed to heal him. Man, were they stupid. Thinking they, well, wait a second. I got to watch that, because there's a lot of people in India that do this sacrificing of animals. People around the world that are really uneducated still sacrifice an animal to make it rain. But the object is all that's made up for them to have power over you and for you to follow what they say. Okay. But the object here is that he went home, and then they didn't believe who he was. Okay. Then he went and healed a dead boy that was carried out in the city of Nain. And then he went to the Jordan River to be baptized. After he's baptized, now he goes up to Galilee and gets all the 12 disciples. Then, as they come back, now they have been witnessing Jesus, not walking on water, but gliding over water. There was white caps. Jesus was not going to walk up and down white caps to the boat. But one of the disciples said, he is a ghost. What do ghosts do? They glide over the water. Then they witnessed him calming the water, calming the rains or the clouds to be under his command. They were witnessing these things. Witness him feeding people. Witness him healing people. Okay? Doing miracles. Okay? So out of this favorable year of the Lord, of our Lord, we have to say that this has been going on because he's going to be going into Jerusalem. Okay, and that's at the very end of the year. Okay, they're going to crucify him on the day before the meal is to be eaten. That day, when they're preparing things, the day of preparation is when they're going to kill him, because everybody's busy working, cooking, and planning. Okay, they're gathering with family, there's talking, they're celebrating. People are coming from all over the land where they're at. The Hebrew were to encompass around the house for meeting with our Creator and have established areas according to how they were born in the order from Jacob's sons in order. And our Creator designated them to 3 sons in the south, 3 sons in the east, 3 sons in the west, and 3 sons in the north. And that's what's called encompassing around him. They were supposed to do that at the celebration. So let me show you something here that's really clever, that when you want to find out the correct order of the camping, 1, 2, 3 sons, 1, 2, 3 sons. Okay. Now these are probably taking over Levite's place. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we got 1, 2, 3 here. Okay. 1, 2, 3 here in the north. So now you can see what I'm talking about as being truthful of how they were to come down to Jerusalem and camp around. They were very busy, okay? And that's when they had Judas betray him, and they took him before Pilate, okay, or Pontius. Now, they have persecuted me, so they would have known this. So this is John 15. Anyways, they will also prosecute you. Okay, now this is that these are almost words that are coming out that he's sending them out, like he's already been crucified here. Okay, that's where this text is coming from. Because I don't know what order it is in the book, but when I'm understanding this, they will persecute you, meaning that they're supposed to go out and tell the people that Jesus exists or existed as a king, and tell them all the things that he had taught them. Now that means that Jesus has already been crucified, and when they came to his mother and father came to the tombs, tombs, okay, before you need an education. A tomb is where the body is placed, that's wrapped up. Tombs means there's more than one, and this is a cave that has many of these tombs. And they were there and wrapped that body up, not because they weren't supposed to just bury them on the holy days. They did this because they didn't know if the person was fully dead. We learned this in the Black Ages of Europe, that when the grave robbers came and stole from the dead, the people that came to clean things up and put some decency and respect back to the dead, they noticed on the top of the coffins, on the inside of the coffins, they had claw marks that people were being buried alive, that they had woke up. That is why they put a grave shift watcher on, and it was their finger was tied to a bell. So when that person pulled that bell, could ring that bell, they would run out even in the middle of the night and start digging up that person that's alive there. That is the truth of what it means to be a dead ringer. You secular world just takes it and does whatever they do. Now you know. Now you know why they placed the body on the tomb. And when they wrapped the body, they would put herbs and spices for the insects not to get to the body. They would put a great big wooden rolling wheel in front of the doorway to keep the larger animals out. Okay. So when they went to go put more spices on the fresh spices, that's when they found out from the angel that Jesus ain't here. Okay. And that would be on the morning of the first day when they celebrated. They started at twilight, which is the beginning of their day. So it's night and daylight as a day. And therefore, Jesus had uh, been took up his body again. And the angel said, go tell the disciples he will meet you in Galilee. Why Galilee? Because they were the most believing people there. When he went up there and was talking to them there, and when the disciples got there, they all knew what they heard, that they had killed him. He was up there teaching them, it doesn't matter what they do to your body. You worry about afterlife. And he came back, and then he's telling them, now I'm going to send you out to teach my gospel to the rest of the world. So I don't even need the word have here now. They persecuted me, and they will, don't need this, persecute you, period. If they keep my, here they got words to teaching, so let me put this. Persecute you. If it's not in his vocabulary here, they will persecute me and they will persecute you. For you keeping and teaching my words. So I got to put my at the end here. Keeping and teaching keeping and teaching about me. Because that's why they're going to persecute him, because they persecuted him about telling him about heaven, and they're going to be his, and they will persecute you for you keeping and teaching them about me. And they will keep yours also. That doesn't matter. They're not supposed to keep what they're teaching, his words. They're supposed to be understanding the teachings are coming from Jesus. So, oops, that wasn't supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be like this. So, now, if I take this text, Now, there's words that I can say that Jesus said truthfully. And you understand now the importance of how you have to know a lot about Jesus in the laws, the statutes, the commandments. And if you aren't following them, you aren't obeying them, you certainly would not be able to edit the text. Okay? And I don't have here on my screen, but I think it's Matthew 5:20, where Jesus is telling you that you must become more righteous than the scribes for you to enter into heaven, which means you're supposed to be smarter than the idiots that are writing the text. And you should, everybody that's just coloring their words and saying, oh, these are beautiful words, it's time for you to cross out the words. Time for you to talk to our Creator and have Him teach you what I'm telling you is the truth here. So if you actually take Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and put them into a word processor, and you start going through the text and saying what is truthful that you can believe, and everything else you can throw out, and the more you study, the more you study, the more you study, 2 or 3 years later, you're still going to be learning. I've been doing this for more than 30 years, and I'm still learning. Okay? Our Creator gives you information, and the more He's given you, the more you know you're getting closer to our Creator every step you take, or every time you talk to our Creator, and He wants to know your heart. So the thing here is that's how to correct the text on your own. I've given you a bunch of examples, but if you start with Jesus's teaching, you will have a better understanding of the text. And when you think Jesus is lying, or the text says Jesus is God, you better remember that the words that start with Abraham, this promise starting with Abraham, from your son's seed shall come a king, and he's going to bless everyone in every race on earth. Okay? David's son, through his son's seed will come their king Yah. So the thing here is if you think our Creator's a liar, then you call Jesus a God. Okay? And He's not, because Jesus actually teaches there is no Trinity. Okay? Here's the text. Jesus here, they have him calling the Holy Spirit and it is, or in a whatever. And they do it again in this verse. But Jesus tells us that the Spirit is our Father who speaks in you or through you. In you is down here, these two verses, that one, His words will teach you what you're supposed to say that very hour. And Jesus, casts out demons by words from our Creator. Now, here, when it's talking about through you, Zacharias and Elizabeth had the Holy Spirit, and they prophesied. Zacharias prophesied what John was going to do. Elizabeth prophesied about Jesus in her womb. They did not know that. They just started speaking and the words come out of their mouths. So this is why I've got in or through for this verse to be starting to correct it. It is His holy words, His holy breath coming through their mouth or in His voice, teaching you the words that you're supposed to say. Jesus does not teach Trinity. He teaches that the Holy Spirit is our Father who speaks in or through you. Okay? So there I did just the quick wrap up of no Trinity. Do I have time? Okay, I do one more here. Oh, this one's going to be long. This one's going to be long, so I don't know if I should do this one. Matthew 5, or John 15, verses 22 through 25. Okay. Jesus is so stupid he doesn't know what a sin is. Okay. Do you know what a sin is? I told you in the beginning of this, in my intro, that the 12 commandments, that's what they are in Exodus 20, verses 1 through 17. There are 12 of them. This is the agreement that our Creator made with the people in the Sinai to become his nation and to be his people, that then he's going to send a king for them to be able to come into heaven. So to become part of Jesus's kingdom, you have to obey the 12 commandments, because these 12, our Creator set up a tent for meeting with him. The priests were to meet with him after they sacrificed the animal, the goat or the ram, on the outside of the fence, removed the hide, used the muscles that are meant action. Then they would slice that up. Then they would take it in, hang it on the stand hooks that are on top of the altar, put wood on it. And this was the offering. The sacrifice is outside. This is the offering. And our Creator said they are to bring him a sin offering. So these are the 12 sins. These are the only sins. And they only started when our Creator told them about the tent of meeting and why he set it up. And this is the agreement. This is what you need to atone for your sin, or Jesus is going to forgive you. But you just can't not always just disobey him and then Jesus is going to let you in. So the thing here is you are supposed to do your best you can to these 12. I know the statutes you can't always do, but circumcising your sons, that you should be doing. These 12 you should be doing. And then there is other laws that talk about, example, don't mark your body, such as tattooing or branding yourself or piercing yourself with earrings. Okay? That was, no, you don't do that. That's our Creator. I think if you search the word imprint, print your body, you will find that when you do like a search on BibleHub.com, you can then get that verse and know that you're never supposed to tattoo yourself, brand yourself, cut yourself, pierce yourself. So there are laws that you have to be to be obedient to our Creator. That's what obedience means. The more obedient you are, becomes you put our Creator first, and then you become righteous. When you become righteous, then it is your absolute glory to be able to speak about our Creator. Okay? So you might think you have these words and can use them, but you really aren't, because you're if you've always thought that you've taught 12 or 10 commandments, gone. Everything you said was a lie. You're deceiving people. Stop deceiving people, learn the truth, and then you become more obedient to our Creator. Here, I better bring this text down. If I had not come and spoke to them, they would have no sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. He who hates me hates our Father also, or my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which no one else did, they would have no sin, but now they have seen and also hated both me and my Father. Jesus doesn't say he's God in this verse either, okay? So he knows there are two. He knows our Father is our creator, and he is our highest male born on the earth that is most obedient to our creator ever. And there's only probably been maybe 200 billion people ever existed on this planet, because I'm counting before the flood as well. But this happened that the world might be fulfilled, which is written in their law. In their law, they hated me without a cause. This is what's written in their law. Okay? Jesus is not stupid here. Okay? So let's get rid of the if again. I came, I was sent. Let's put it correctly. Jesus knows he was sent. He's fulfilling our Creator's promises. I was sent to, well, I got to put that as all capital letters, to teach them not spoken, to teach them, to teach. Okay? I don't even need them. I was sent to teach they have sinned. They have sinned. Okay? That I can see him saying that. Okay? And that's period. Now they have no excuse for sinning. You have no more excuse for sinning either. You should be obedient as possible. But now they have no excuse for their sinning. Okay. Now that's a whole bunch better right then. Okay. And that didn't take a genius to actually understand what a sin is. And now Jesus knows what a sin is too. Okay. No, don't need the word he. Who hates me and or hates not just his, but our Father. He's talking to probably the disciples or a group of people that were known as Israelis. Israelis were obedient to our Creator. Jews were the ones that were unbelieving of him. Who hates me or hates our Father. It doesn't need the word also. He's already said that. If I had not this, I don't know why he is saying this. If it has to be yet, because if I'm thinking at what time he's going to say that, yet I done among them miracles. miracles. And these are our creators, but Jesus is doing them. So our creator give him permission to do them. Yet I done among them miracles, comma, which no one else did. Now the prophets is what he is saying here, which no, this one is no, this can't be. The prophets, they could heal people. Jesus gives them an example at the time of, I think it was Elijah, that one of the people from, or when the Armenians came down and captured some Israelis and took them as slaves or people to work for them, which sometimes even that is not a true slave, meaning being whipped, being forced heavy labor, as like it's a punishment that, like, as if you're being punished for what that person wants done. They needed people to help their way of life to increase, to get people that would not do the work like gardening, would not do the work like picking up people's shit and washing it or throwing it away out of their pails, okay? So it was a prophet that had a Israeli slave girl, and when she found out he had leprosy, he said, well, you should go talk to Elijah, he will heal you. And he did, and Elijah healed him. That's what that commander of the Damascus or the Armenian army then went back and they were witness what a prophet from Israel can do. Jesus reminds them that nobody else was believing a prophet could do that, but Elijah healed that guy because he wanted to be healed. He trusted him that he come to him, that you're a prophet, you're supposed to be able to do this. It was like he was like relying on, you are supposed to do this for me because I believe your creator. So no other prophet, no prophet. Which no, I'm going to have to put, which no prophet did. Now, here is something that I can relate to the word did. Now, you know that we have no other prophets besides healing. So the miracle of him feeding people, and when he spit and made clay and then rubbed it on his eyes, that means that boy was born without eyes. And that's why the boy argues with the other, the priests that didn't believe Jesus. They said he did what no one else could do. None of the other prophets did. So therefore he has to be a prophet because I had no eyes. I got eyes. How did I get them? Okay. So, which no prophet did. Okay. Those are the examples. Now, let's see here. This verse is almost out of reading out of context. And then I would skip over and said, they have no excuses. here would be for instead of yet. And this done is miracles. So that's what that means. What you did would be a miracle coming from our Creator. So I'm going to say this, well, now here they're going to be repeating this. So I don't need it here. Now this is actually starting to make sense because I need the word for here now. For I done among them miracles, which no prophet did. No, could I add the words before me to make sure that that's, I don't think I need to add that. They would not have sinned, but that's the problem, is that he's pointing out that they're not going to believe him even though that they've seen him do this. Because these words have to be tied together now. And if Jesus is saying, done among them miracles, which no prophet did, meaning he's talking about the people that here they should stop and repent what they're doing because I did these. Now this he wouldn't have said, but he would have said, even now is what would be here. Even now. Because Jesus is giving them the setting up of what he wants to say. Even now, comma, they have seen these. And now that means that like raising Lazarus from the dead, okay? So I'm thinking that this is at this time, or because he's talking about the priest in Jerusalem not believing him, okay? Because the other people were believing him up in Galilee, okay? They were sending out word that, first of all, he was healing people. And when he healed, raised that boy off dead, that went throughout all the land. All the runners took off and said, hey, we have a prophet. Because, look, when John came, he was telling them they're coming. Before he was born, they had their wise men from the other side of the Jordan River come over. They didn't come from the east. They don't even know about Jesus. They didn't care about what's happening over here in little Israel over here at the time. So the thing here is they had to be their true believers, Israelis from the east side of the river, because they were divided into 3 sections at this time, at Herod's time. And they like Jerusalem was ruled, or like they had a governor named Pontius. They had Herod ruling over, although he was ruling at that time, there was a Herod who had ruled all these 2 lands together, excuse me. And then east of the river, there was another division of these 3 places that Rome came in and set up. But I guess the first time was that they knew that they come over and they killed the first 2-year-old sons and down. That would have spread all over. Why'd they do that? Because there was announced to them that Jesus was born. Okay, so that's the thing, and that's why it was the favorable year of our Lord that Jesus came 25 years later. And why I say 25 years later is because to fulfill the priest statute to become a priest, before he could be anointed to go in and work inside the gate, to be anointed, to be able to forgive, to become a priest, you had to be 25 years old. And then at 50, you were to leave the service. Okay? So you have to understand all this knowledge to understand where these words are coming from and at what time. Because this has to be, again, John 15. I don't know how many chapters John has, but so far I've found a lot of text that he's talking to the disciples about after he's already been crucified. So this still has to be around Jerusalem's time. So don't know exactly what these words, but we know that it's got to be close to him being crucified, because we could say within a week or two that he's down in Jerusalem. Even now they have seen these, and I'm adding that, which means I just had a thought that, but he didn't have many disciples at the time. He told them your sins are forgiven, and the paraplegic got up and walked out. But the story of him healing right when he started, the guy that wanted to get to the pool of water, he was told to pick up and go, and then they were all complaining, so he was witnessing to them at that time. The boy that had his no eyes put in, those two things happened in Jerusalem. And now he's returning, and he had sent his disciples throughout Jerusalem before he even entered into Judah territory, because they went in and were healing people. And then they came back and met Jesus probably at a certain time, in it, I believe, by Shiloh. And then they went to Jericho, and then it talks about him going and raising Lazarus. So then they know that Lazarus was dead, and they had witnesses, but they can't say seen. They not seen, I guess, know of. They know of these. I guess that would be the correct, not seen. I was really trying to make the word seen work, and you've seen me trying to hammer it out in my little tiny brain here. And the more I tried to convince myself, the more I kept finding loopholes. And so then our Creator gave me the word know. They know of these, yet hate me and our Father. So now you have to know about who he's talking to. It has to be the disciples. And this is just another title for our Creator. The word God, it's not his name, people. It's just a title. So watch the very intro of the video again. I explain the letters Y and V as being closer than anybody else to knowing his name. And our Father doesn't have to say as well, because he already has hate me and our Father. Now, but they have done in order that the word. Okay, now it has to be him talking about he's going to die to do this. Okay. Now these words here that are italic, are words that they put in the 1977 NSAB as added words to get this sentence to be understood, is the way they want you to understand it. Okay, so let me take this out, that I don't need those. But in order that now these words are, what I'm seeing here is going to be words that were prophesied through a prophet. So words that were prophesied, I've got that part right. In order his, and not putting our creator's name in here, but his prophecy be fulfilled. Now I can put a comma in. As written, that means that the prophet wrote them down in their, not in, now they had books at that time. They started out with hides that they used and wrote and put it on that, and they would roll them up and call it a scroll. At the time of Egypt, then it becomes, they had the knowledge about paper or papyrus. Now, what papyrus is you've seen reeds grow by the water edge. And before it touches the air, that's when it's growing underneath the water, they picked it. It is a white, almost translucent piece of reed. And they lay them, crisscross them, and then they press them, and that becomes their paper, okay? Or, other words, manuscript. Now that you know that I'm trying to figure out is written in our books, because this has to be, and I've got to add that, our books, not laws at all, our books. Because it's a prophecy. In order his prophecy be fulfilled as written in our books. And then it would be something like that. They hated me without cause. Okay. Now, they actually hated him, though. They hated him for a different reason. And that is, I have to go to a lot of text to do this. I got to go back to like Malachi 2:11, where it talks about Judah at the time being the last nation, how they went and started marrying the daughter of a foreign god, which means they were sitting in darkness, meditating to have a sex with a so-called female goddess. That practice that is can only be done by single people. So it's like your pope, your bishop, monks, Buddhists, all the single people that try to say that they're a religious figure, they most likely have this practice if they're put into any authority. A lot of people don't know what I'm saying, so they wouldn't be knowledgeable about this. But this is what they did, and their belief was that they can become gods by having that experience. Okay, and so to have these people, true Israelis, believing our Creator's prophecy that Jesus will forgive them to enter into heaven, their thoughts at that time that they become gods and they were going to be a host in heaven. They were going to become a star in heaven. That's why the planets today are named after gods. Okay? The sun is sun god Ra. You have an Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican courtyard. They believe in the sun god Ra, and his daughter is the moon goddess. So that is the knowledge that you need to know, that these people didn't really, they had a way of knowing by this repeatable action that can happen. And this, by the way, this goddess has no nipples, no breasts, no belly button, no sex. So it's hard to say that they say it's a female goddess, but I'm just informing you what I know is true. And so this is why they doubted whether these people could go to heaven, because they knew they were becoming gods. Okay. The other thing is that in the East, or in Asia, when you meditate instead of sleeping, like these single people do, that after 10 years they are visited by another person while they're meditating in this empty blackness. And what happens after 25 years, it's a daily event, and get to talk to the gods, as they'll tell you. Okay. In my YouTube channel, which you're going to see is on the description below, you can go look for that. I have a video about afterlife. Males now can witness they have afterlife. Do that. And any atheist out there that tells you that you're not going to live afterwards, you'll have self-proof to say, look, it's repeatable. I know I'm going to exist after my body dies. There's no more of a doubt or a possibility, or I no longer have a belief of that. I know it's true. Okay. So that's their proof of afterlife, to become gods. So they hated me without cause. I have to have an understanding, or put all that knowledge I just told you about in here. They hated me without cause. What is written of Yah. Now I have to add all these words, so I have to just completely say that, yes, this is what I'm putting in that would have been prophesied, because it's the prophecy that Jesus is coming as their king, but they hated him without causes. Not, you can't say that without knowing everything I just told you. What is written of Yah, without cause. They hated me without cause. Or what is written of Yah. That because if I'm trying to make this as truthful as possible, this has to be there now. Okay. Oops, that wasn't the right key. And then this is going to be the last one I'm going to do for the day. So let's see, it disappeared on me. Okay. I was sent to teach. They have, okay, this is going to have a comma. I was sent to teach, they have sinned, but now they have no excuse for their sinning. For I done among them miracles, which no prophet did. Even now they know of these, yet hate me and our Father. But in order his prophecy be fulfilled, as written in our books, they hated me without cause for what is written of Yah. Okay. So you can see that there's going to be more text here, but this is as truthful as I can be. And it took me a while to explain it. So don't sit there and think you just coming here and saying, oh, well, he put this word here and he put this word and he didn't say what these words mean. Well, you got a real good example of my knowledge of going here and there and everywhere that's needed to correct a verse. So here I had to correct a few of them. So, but these are truthful words that Jesus now has said. You get my point that the text is being written by people that do not believe Jesus exists, because many times I pointed out he is so stupid, like this one, he didn't know what a sin was. The one before it, I mean, he didn't know, let's see, well, you watched the video. So anyways, I'm going to call it the end today. And if you want to take a screenshot of that, go right ahead, show your friends that there is truly one who knows too much. Well, not really. I don't know too much. I don't know enough yet, but I do know how to correct the text. And that, what this is being proven in front of you, is to show that by trusting the words that are now given, and you know that these are the most truthful words that you now know Jesus said, your belief will become a trust, plain and simple. Have a great day.